And my name is Karen Harrington, and I'm with the Maine Health Data Organization, and I just want to welcome you all this afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. We're excited to share with you some enhancements we've made to our Chapter 300 Financial Data Submission Portal. So just a few housekeeping things before we get started. If you could mute your phone line so folks don't hear background noise, and just make sure you don't put it on hold. Make sure you mute it. There is a chat feature with the webinar, so if you have questions as we go through the formal presentation, please feel free to use that chat feature, and we'll address as many questions as you have at the end of the webinar. And for those that we can't answer, we will certainly follow up and get that information out to you. And I believe, and Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're recording this session, so we'll post it on, okay, super, we'll post it on the website. So if you want to go back and listen to it or forward it to a colleague, you know, you'll be able to do that. Probably it'll take us a week or so to get it posted. So quickly, let me go through the agenda. I think we've hit number one. We want to talk about this new online submission portal and really kind of talk about what that means for you all as submitters of this data. We'll do a portal demonstration and then answer questions that you have. I'm going to just take a minute and give you a little bit of context behind why we did this, and then I will turn it over to the team at that's been working on this that can talk through more of the details. So if we move to the next slide. So for the last several years, MHDO has been working on really transforming all of our data collection systems, our processes, our culture, everything to get closer to you know, leveraging newer technologies and just making things more efficient for you all as data submitters, for MHDO. As you know, we all have limited resources, so trying to figure out how to do more with less and do it more efficiently by leveraging technology. So we've been partnered with our vendor, HSRI and NORC out of the University of Chicago, and they've really been helping us with all of this work. And we're happy to report that we have completed the streamlining of the data submission for the Chapter 300 hospital financial data. So we're going to move away from the workbook that you've all submitted via email to an online portal where you go in and you log in to this portal. It's similar to how data is submitted from other areas within your organization. So we get hospital encounter data that's submitted to the MHDO, and we get claims data from payers that's submitted, and they're all using portals to submit their data. So we've listed out some of the primary benefits of this transition, and again, I just want to underscore that what we're really focused on is making sure that our data is as secure as it can be, that we gain some efficiencies by leveraging technology. Through this new online portal, we'll have quicker turnaround times of posting these reports online, which is one of the things that we do, right? You send this data to us, and we then turn around and post it online, and there are a number of users, including the Maine Hospital Association, that looks at the financial data that's online, and anything we can do to make it more efficient for you all and make it more efficient for us to get the data out is a win-win for everybody. And it will also give us the ability to generate some ad hoc reporting. At times we get asked for that from hospitals for different planning purposes, and the ability to look at trends and these reports more easily. So those are some of the benefits. If we go to the next slide, we are looking at a go-live date of November 19th. So what that means, and we'll get into more of this detail through the details of the presentation, but starting with the fiscal year 2018 financial data, you will be submitting it through the new portal, the new online portal, and so no longer will you be putting it into an Excel workbook and emailing it to us. And then also the audited financial statements can be uploaded through the portal as well. So again, we're really excited that hopefully you'll see this as a more efficient way to submit the data to us. We gain some benefits from it for those that are accessing the data. I'm going to turn it over now to Kate Mullins with HSRI, who will get into the details. And again, I want to thank you for taking your time to be on this call. I know you're all super busy. We'll get through this as quickly as we can. We want to make sure we answer any questions that you might have, so please use that chat feature. And also, if there's anybody that would like to talk to us offline, I think many of you have over the years talked with Deb Dodge from the Maine Health Data Organization, and Deb's available to talk with you one-on-one, as am I, so you just let us know what you need as you work through the transition. Okay, so with that, Kate, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. And so I'm just going to walk through a few of the steps that you'll be going through to access and submit through this new portal. And then I'm going to be handing it over to Kim Bonzent at MHDO to go through a live demonstration of the portal. But first we'll just hit some of the major steps in what the actual submission will look like. So first, we've included the link to the MHDO hospital data portal. And as Karen Lee mentioned, this portal currently hospitals are submitting other data types through this portal, so the site is there. We will be creating user accounts for submitters, and you'll be receiving a email from our system with your username and temporary password. This will be occurring as we get closer to that November 19th of go live, and we'll certainly be sending out an email, a separate email, also letting you know that that process has occurred and that you should be looking for that user information. So again, I'm just going to walk through sort of the high-level steps and what it's going to look like for you to submit data through this portal. So once you log in, you're going to navigate to what's called a financial data page within this your facility name, and there'll be a button to click Enter New Data, and you'll have a drop-down where you're going to access, sort of indicate which MHDO ID you're submitting under, and we will be, again, distributing a list of those IDs for each hospital so that you have that information ahead of your first submission. So once you select that and go to the next screen, you're going to see a very similar data entry screen to kind of what you're using now in Excel. And the information from the previous year will be pre-populated in the right-hand column, and then the 2018 column will be highlighted, shaded, where you're going to need to enter new data for the current year. Worksheets must also be completed, and you'll be able to access those by clicking the line number, and we've just listed out where the worksheets are in each of the lines. And this is an example of what the worksheet screen looks like. You'll be able to complete each of the rows as needed, click Apply, and that'll apply the data that you've entered into the template, similar to what you do now. If the worksheet has issues that are detected by the validation, a message will be displayed, and you'll need to resolve those errors before the information is applied back to your main template.
Maybe she wants to sit by herself. Lunch, though. Sorry. No, that's why.
So just going back to the main template, once you've completed all of the necessary information and you think you're ready to submit, you'll click the button, and if there are issues with any of the validations, a message will be displayed, and it'll indicate which lines need to be corrected, and it'll provide details regarding the error. This slide just is a guideline for the, well, I guess I should say requirement for the proper identification of your audited financial statement documents. So we're just asking that we follow this naming convention so that it can be uploaded through the portal. Again, we'll be providing a list of hospitals and their MHDO IDs before you're making your first submission through the system. And we've provided just an example of what that file naming convention will look like. So here you'll see for the year 2018, there's a button that is going to allow you to upload your audited financial statements. It'll check to confirm that you followed the naming convention on the previous slide. And as long as it's following that naming convention, you'll be able to click upload, and you'll receive a message indicating whether the transmission of the file was successful. So I'm going to pull down my screen now and hand it over to Kim to walk through a more live presentation. So just bear with us for a moment as we swap screens here. And I'll just note that I will go over this in a little bit more detail, but we will be providing, in addition to these slides, there'll be user documentation that walks through each of those steps as well.
This is Kim Bonson at MHDO, and Deb Dodge is also here with me. Can everybody see my screen?
We cannot, Kim. There is a little arrow at the bottom of your screen pointing up. I believe you're going to need to click that. I can see it now, Kim.
Okay. So this is the portal where you would log in. So I am, for this demonstration purpose, I'm going to be logging in as Blue Hill with some just test data. So as you see, the portal will show that it's Blue Hill Memorial Hospital, and you have these links on the side, and to enter your financial data, you click here. The first screen that you will see is the financial data page, and this table shows you, has it broken down into the year of the financial data. The modified date is when you last worked on it, whether it be editing or submitting, and then you have the status column. The statuses, as you can see here, we have a couple. We started working on the 2018. We submitted a 2017 template, and it was accepted. And also here you'll see the date for the audited financial statement. That's the date that that was submitted. Also for statuses, you will see submitted, and once it's submitted, it will need to be accepted or rejected by Deb Dodge. And the historical that you see here, That will be the status once a full year of financial data has been processed for all hospitals and the year is basically closed up, then everybody's will be put into a historical status. And then the actions column, so we're going to be actually dealing with one that is started. You'll see that you can edit it from here. You can see your history of your statuses, and as Kate showed, the uploading of the AFS. I'll start out with entering new data, just so you can see a live version of what Kate just went through with you. The MHDO for Blue Hill is here. We've got to drop down in case the person submitted for more than one hospital. And the year, we're dealing with 2018, so that's selected, and you would hit add. I can't do it at this time because I've already started one. So we're going to go back here to the template that was started and hit edit, because now I have the remainder of the information I need, for example. I just want to let you know ahead of time that there is a time limit for being in the portal. It is 30 minutes. You will get a warning when there are 2 minutes remaining of no activity whatsoever. And that warning will say basically you need to enter, reload, or to keep your session active. And you'll also get a message if you went past that 30 minutes, it will tell you that your session timed out. But this system does have automatic saving mechanisms, so your data won't be lost. There could be maybe a slight amount lost if, say, you just entered something and it timed out before, a second or two for a save, but it's minimal. So here, as she said, it downloads. The template looks exactly like what you're working with. It brings in your previous year's data here for you, so you can start entering. I also want to show that if you hover over the names of the elements, you have the definitions, and you can also go to the link to the left to get your definitions as well. So you would basically just start entering data. The important thing to see is when you have the worksheets. I wanted to show you the worksheets. As she said, you could click on this and get to the worksheet, but that isn't normally how you would do it. You would enter your amount first. I'm just going to put in 100,000 because that is the threshold for requiring a worksheet. So if I try to go to the next line, it gives you a message saying that basically you're within the threshold requiring that worksheet. So you click OK, and it will automatically take you to that since it is required. Here's an example of a worksheet. I just wanted to point out line 11 value as well as current total here. Line 11 value is what you put on the template. Current total is the current total of this worksheet right now. So I'm just going to update this a bit. And I did want to show you a warning message that you will get. Here you'll see that this worksheet totals 75,000, which is not the same as what you entered on the template. When I hit apply, there'll be a message that tells you there's this discrepancy. You have the choice, if you made your mistake on the template on line 11 on the previous page and you want 75,000, you can just hit OK, and that's what you'll get. If you realize that, oh, you forgot a line for 25,000, you can enter that here and then hit apply. And then they will be lined up. And you can see the two values here. One more thing I want to show you is that all cells need to be completed. So if you're missing an entity name or a purpose and you hit apply, it tells you it's incomplete. So you have to submit something there. So there are a lot of validations and checks along the way to make it easier so that you won't miss anything that's important. All the worksheets are pretty much the same. So when you're done, you would hit submit. You can also print this for your records. if you're not done and you want to come back to it or, check some data before you finish or when you're finally done. So when you hit submit, you get a printout of errors, if there are errors. Of course, there's a lot here because we didn't put much in this. But it tells you the line numbers where your errors are and basically the issue, a lot of missing values, of course. This one here is for the worksheet, incorrect worksheet here due from affiliates. So you would go back to worksheet number 21. The good thing here is you can print this out. I mean, hopefully you will not have this many errors, but it's helpful to print it out, and then you basically go back to your template and you would start fixing them. So if you want to go back to template that had an error, here is where you would go to the worksheets if you want to fix it. And you would start entering information here. Let's see. So I'm going to go back here and just want to do a quick example of uploading an audited financial statement. So I click the link here. I now need to choose a file. And again, as Kate mentioned, it's very important to have the naming correct and the dashes. The dashes are equally as important. So this is FIN, of course, dash, and this is Blue Hills Financial MHDO ID number, and then the dash in the year. And it says invalid file name because I'm working on 2018, and that file had 2017. So it won't let me. But if I did have that named correctly, it would have gone successfully, and you would see the date that I uploaded that. Again, just to go over quickly, we've got the data element definitions here, the file naming, in case you forget, contact screen here, the portal, the MHDO help desk information. There's my information here for compliance, but mostly you'll be dealing with Deb Dodge, and there's her contact information. There will be a user manual and FAQ document, and the training webinar will be here. You would just, like if I click here, it will download the PDF. And I think that wraps up the demonstration.
Great. Thank you, Kim. I'm going to pull my screen back up with and so we can return to a few items in the PowerPoint presentation. So in addition to the resources that Kim just reviewed within the portal, there is also a new page on the MHDO website that will be providing information about this transition process, including today's webinar, which is being recorded. So that will be available on this MHDO web page as well as within the portal once you have access. So submission information and updates will be posted to the website. Typically, as we send out, any notifications or information that you all will need, we also will be posting it to this website. And as Kim reviewed, we do have a help desk that's available for any technical or system issues you may encounter as you are working in the portal or any user account trouble, and we're available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can reach us through email and phone, and I'm sure we look forward to working with you all. And as Kim mentioned, Deb Dodge is available for any compliance or questions related to completing the forms. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be providing a list of hospitals, parent entities, and their MHDO IDs in the coming weeks, so you have that for your reference. I think at this point we're going to open it up for some questions, and I'm first just going to go to a few that we received via the chat feature. Feel free to continue to send questions there. The first question has to do with, are you able to copy and paste into the worksheets? And yes, you should be able to do that as you're working through it. If you're working from another document, you'll be able to copy and paste values into there. In addition to providing the recording for today's webinar, we'll also have these slides available in a PDF format on the website that you'll be able to download and print as well. And the final question that got via the chat has to do with whether or not you can run two tabs through the portal or whether you're going to get errors. And that's something I will need to follow up on because the form does save sort of automatically. I would want to check on that, and that is a good question that we should include in our user documentation. So we will follow up on that specific item. Are there any other questions that folks wanted to ask?
So hearing none, I think we can wrap this up. So the good news is we're a half hour early. And again, we just want to thank everybody for taking the time to get on this call. If you do have questions, you've got contacts. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. And again, we just want to thank all of you, and we look forward to this new process.